Today, I'm in this beautiful park to introduce the game of the week and the first game of the series, Bird Week. The first thing you'll notice about Bird Week is that the music isn't great. It's not bad, especially the music inside of the game isn't bad, but that title screen, oh god, that title screen. It honestly isn't that bad. Sustained, overruled. Besides the music, the gameplay isn't actually bad. In the game, you control a mama bird, and you gotta feed your baby birds, right? The first objective and the main objective is to get all these butterflies flying around. It's not too easy. They try to evade you, but I found that if you just kind of let them fly into your mouth, usually you can get them pretty well. Like, you can't go after the butterflies. You gotta let them come to you. So if you keep that in mind, it's not that bad. And so you gotta grab the butterflies and you gotta take them to your baby birds whenever they start dancing. If you catch a butterfly early, you can't give it to your baby birds right away because they're not dancing yet. And so you gotta wait and you gotta fly around up top until they start dancing. And that leaves you vulnerable to anything. So you kind of have to fly some laps around just to wait for them to get hungry. So while you're feeding your baby birds, there are a lot of animals that come around and try to attack you and take you out. Very rude. But you got things like these big birds, these little, I don't even know, I guess it's a squirrel, but a rabbit, I don't know. You got a rabbit, and then you got flying squirrels later, and bees, and all that stuff. And all this, they're just pissed. They want to kill you for no reason. And there's not too much you can do about them. You can't attack, there's no attack at all. But there are these mushrooms that you can pick up. And you can drop mushrooms on these animals' heads. And it maybe takes them out for 5 seconds. But, it's not very good. I've tried it a few times. And they fall really pitifully. And then they get right back up. So it's it's essentially like taking out a ghost in Pac-Man. So in the main game, you have only 3 lives. And once your lives are over, that's it. It kicks you out and you're back to the start and you gotta do it all again. It's a classic kind of arcade, early kind of console game thing. That's what they do, right? You have your lives, you get your score. Once you're done, you're done. You're going for high score. That's the point of the game, is to get a good score, man. But you'll notice that this is the main game, but there's also, and this really intrigued me, there's a mode called Study Mode. What's that? Because I was expecting an educational program inside this Famicom game. But no, it's just a level selector, basically, which is also pretty cool. And so this way you can see how many levels are actually in the game. And it turns out there's 36 levels, which considering I started having trouble around the 4th level, and so that's a lot of mileage out of this small game. I tried level 36 briefly, and yeah, you see how well that went. There's things flying everywhere. It's wild. Right, for a game called Bird Week, this is a tough game, man. But that's what you expect from Famicom and Nintendo at the time. Some tough games, you gotta get your money's worth, right? So it makes you play for a bit, makes you master it, which is a good thing. Also, what's up with the amount of Famicom games that have week in the name? I mean, there's at least 2. There's Bird Week, a week with Garfield. I don't even know. So, although the game's music is pretty grating, the gameplay is quite good, and it's exclusive in Japan, so you should definitely check it out. So, Bird Week gets a 5 out of 10.